What's up, guys? So I'm back here in New York, back in my office. I was in Chicago for about a month, spending time with family, doing a little house hunting, considering moving there for a couple of years, as I've mentioned before, I think. In any case, so I want to do a really quick video. I wanted to get your thoughts. If you're watching this video, please do leave a comment if you have an opinion. So basically, I've been thinking a little bit about possibly starting a course or like building a course, programming course. Some people have asked for that. I didn't really want to, actually a little while back I thought about doing it, but I found that there's lots of courses online. There's lots that will teach programming from, here's a variable and all the way, to advanced topics in just about every language, or probably every language. And so I didn't really want to compete with those or create content that wasn't maybe as good as some of the other content that was out there and people who focused on this. So, and then there's a lot of paid courses as well, like Tech Lead and Joma Tech and things like that. I think it's like $70 or $90 or who knows what to get access to these courses. And so I thought about doing it for free. I thought about doing paid ones because these things do take time, of course, to do them in any useful way. Some level of production value takes a lot of time and a lot of energy. And so I just really wanted to stick to just talking and talking about things that are on my mind or things that you wanted to hear or listen to from my experiences. But I've been thinking about this a little bit more, and I think I do want to build something and actually take part in building an application or a game or something that walks through my thought process. I can explain how and why I'm coding a certain thing. It actually builds from the ground up. And so this wouldn't be a short thing. This would be probably hours of content, kind of like 45 to 1 hour, videos that were, that I would do once a week or something like that, hopefully. And so I was thinking about, well, what should I do? Like build a web app, build a game. And there's a lot of this stuff out there, of course. And so really I have to do it for myself, but hopefully something that's really interesting to people if they want to learn, learn from me or learn from the way I approach things. And so I took a step back and thought, well, what would I want to build? And let me just say, when I started building or when I started coding, I was always fascinated. I've always been into fantasy games and novels, and I actually played a text-based RPG or a MUD, multi-user dungeon, if you're familiar with that, for about 7 or 8 years, called Gemstone. And I was addicted to this game. I would spend hours and hours a day, which I probably should have spent, coding or drawing or something more useful, but at least it taught me how to type fast, because again, it was all text, and you develop your character. Just imagine EverQuest that's older, or World of Warcraft or something, but text-based only, right? So I always wanted to build something like this. And so when I was learning C, even before that, learning QBasic, I would, set up character and armor and items and try and build something of this nature, because I wanted that to exist in the world. But of course, I wasn't a very good programmer. I was still learning, but it helped push me to actually figure this stuff out. I remember when I got into object-oriented programming, that was a big unlock for me to be able to model, entities that are characters or NPCs and various items and take advantage of things like polymorphism. And this was all in C++ and then later C#. And I took part in some online community or online small teams that were building MUDs, made a bunch of friends that way. And so my point is that, I've always been fascinated with this, and that was one thing that really drove me towards programming and gave me the motivation to push through. And so I thought, well, why not build something like that, right? There's a bunch of MUDs and code and available on GitHub. And so, I'm not really, there's a bit of reinvention, I guess, if I did do that, but at least I'd be able to start from scratch. And I think a MUD or a game like an RPG like that is actually pretty good for working through a whole bunch of problems. How you structure data, how you load data, how you represent the world, how you handle AI of characters if you have characters running around, how you handle network programming, right? Because you have multiple people connecting to the service at once, how you deal with just structuring the general architecture of the application, right? And I just find this to be pretty fascinating, and it just touches on a lot of concepts architecturally and also low-level concepts when it comes to actually programming the thing. And so I thought, okay, well, what language would I do this in? I thought about like Rust or something like that, since I actually haven't done too much in Rust. But I don't know. That could be fun, but I think that if I use something that I'm more comfortable with, then maybe I can teach. It could be a teaching moment or opportunity for me to actually focus on the architecture and focus on the building the thing rather than also me learning the language and stuff. And so I thought about just doing a mud in Go. Again, there are these things out there, but I'd start from scratch. Like, let's build the server, let's connect to it, let's do login of a character, let's create character classes, let's create rooms that you can walk around, items that you can pick up and use, monsters that you fight, right? An experience system where you level up your character, things like that are pretty fun in my opinion to build, and I think could be pretty interesting in terms of the decisions and trade-offs that are made. So that's my idea, that's my thought. I'd love to get your thought on whether this is a good idea, or should I just build a Unity game or Unreal game or something like that. Maybe I could later. But right now I think this would be entertaining to me, and enough so that it might keep me interested to actually build something, put the source code out there, put the videos out there of me actually walking through it, and to do so for free. And so it could be useful for people learning Go, useful for people just getting started learning how to program games, how to program anything really. And so that's it. So please, I'm going to keep this short. Leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you think, and open to all kinds of suggestions before I do this. But that's what's been going around in my mind in terms of what I want to spend maybe a few hours a week on. And I'd love to hear from you. So, and of course, if you want to see this content, please subscribe, and then hopefully you'll just get it for free when and if I decide to actually do it. Hopefully soon, because I'm eager to do this, and so let's hear it. Talk to you guys later.